Hello and welcome. This is meditation, and I am Rebecca, and I am very happy to be here with you today. And I've been talking in my classes this week about range of motion. We had a wonderful yoga class yesterday, and one of my students said after I talked about choosing a comfortable range of motion, right? Not necessarily pushing to the very, very edge of your capabilities, but keeping things just in a nice, smaller range of motion. And she said that it popped for her. It suddenly opened up for her this idea of choice and having permission to do less. And I just thought that was such a beautiful thing to for her to realize and for her to bring forward to our group, that sometimes doing less is by far the right choice. And we've all heard the expression less is more. And that is not necessarily the mantra that many of us have. Many of us, type A, hard driving people. But sometimes doing just a little bit less opens you up to so much more. So, how does that translate? Range of motion, permission to do less. How does that translate into meditation? It's not a pass for doing meditation. It's not saying, well, you don't really need to do it. Although I met someone over my past weekend when I was at a retreat for my synagogue, who said that she finally connected to yoga and walking and even chanting as being her ways into meditation. That instead of trying to force herself to sit and clear her mind and having it, in her mind not work again and again, that she gave herself permission to meditate in a different way. So maybe that's one way. And it is a sense of smoothness, a sense of searching for the beauty in your practice. My teacher, Merrill Arnett, did a whole series on finding beauty in your practice, finding joy, and giving yourself permission to be exactly where you are with what you're doing. So one of the ways that I want to work today is with the idea of creating space, right? It's very hard to add to something that's already full. And so the idea of creating space. So let's start with just a little bit of breathing. We're going to work with the 3-part yoga breath called Dirga breath. And pardon me. And with Dirga breath, we take in our breath in 3 stages of inhale and then 1 long exhale. So we start by breathing into our belly, and then the breath rises into our rib cage, and then the breath comes up to the collarbones, and then we release and let it all go. So we take little sips of air. It's not, we're not breathing, inhaling to bursting. We're just filling and then emptying. Okay. So we start by getting grounded and comfortable in our meditation seat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you're sitting up in a chair with cushions that are giving you lots of support so that you can be upright with an extended spine and very much aware. Maybe you preferred to meditate lying down. For some people, that is a preference, but be in a position where you can lengthen your spine and where you will be able to stay awake. Because meditation is not a sleeping practice. It is a wakeful practice. So finding your meditation seat and then beginning to notice what is around you today. What is in your space? Can you find a color that you hadn't noticed before, a little pop of color somewhere in your space, and let it bring you a little bit of joy? And taking that in, allow your eyes to close or take a soft gaze, and begin to notice the sensation of your breath. Now we're going to do a short meditation, and I'm going to tell a story, and then we'll do a longer meditation at the end. So notice your breath, being aware of the inhale. So when you're inhaling, say to yourself, oh, I'm inhaling. And then being aware of your exhale. So as you begin to exhale, say to yourself, I'm exhaling. And in this way, we create awareness of breath. And then begin to bring your inhale down into your low belly, as if the breath could drop all the way down and fill up like water fills a cup. So we breathe into belly, and then we take a sip of breath into our rib cage, expanding to the sides, and then a sip of breath up to our collarbones, and then we let it all go. This is 3-part yoga breath. Inhaling into belly, ribs, chest, and a long, slow exhale. One more time. Inhaling into belly, ribs, chest, and a long, slow exhale. This time we'll inhale into belly, ribs, chest, and now hold for just a moment and feel that fullness. And then let it go and empty out completely, and then hold for just a moment at the bottom and feel that emptiness. And then inhale again and come back into your natural breath. So we're talking today, for those of you who are joining us, that we're talking about range of motion, permission to be exactly where you are, and the idea of fullness and creating space in order to take something more in. So I wanted to tell you this story, and the moral of this story, which I'll tell you before I tell the story, is that we have to exhale before we can inhale again. And so this is the story of the Zen master and tea, as you see my backdrop. There was a wise Zen master. People from far and near would seek his counsel and ask him to enlighten them in the ways of Zen. One day, an important man came to visit the master and began to lecture him about Zen, insisting that the Zen master enlighten him. The Zen master quietly acknowledged his guest and offered him to sit and have a cup of tea. The man was blustery and he sat down, but he kept talking and kept talking. And as the man was talking, the Zen master began to quietly pour a cup of tea. And he poured and he poured, and the tea rose up to the rim and then began to spill over the edge and spill more and more. And the visitor stopped talking long enough to shout, "You're spilling the tea all over. Can't you see the cup is full?" The Zen master stopped pouring and he smiled at his guest and he said, "You are like this teacup, so full that nothing more can be added. Come back to me when your cup is empty and you're ready to receive." And so we will move into our meditation practice today with an awareness of this idea of letting go and releasing so that we can take in what we need. So begin once again to establish your breath. Just noticing where you feel the breath in your body. Maybe it's at the tip of your nose or the back of your throat. Maybe it's in your belly. Once you have a good awareness of your breath, begin to deepen it. Let the breath help you to sit up taller or lengthen your spine. Let the breath help you to release and let go as you exhale. Once again, creating space so that you can fill again. Allow the breath to help you expand. And then softly release, contract, and let go. The next time that you're inhaling, at the top of your inhale, hold for just a moment, aware of the fullness of this breath, and then softly release and let it go. And at the bottom of your exhale, hold for just a moment in emptiness, and then release that and inhale once again. Establishing a comfortable, gentle breath practice of just a pause at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. What does it feel like to be empty? What does fullness feel like? Do you prefer one sensation over the other? What's present? What's coming up as we do this breath? What does this sense of fullness feel like? Do you have good associations with it? Maybe bad? Or are you indifferent? What is emptiness? Is it a sense of loss? A relief? Or a sense of potential? Stay with the pausing breath for another 3 or 4 repetitions. And then release into your natural breath, noticing what it's like to leave that behind. Breathe in wholeness. And as you exhale, send that feeling out to the others on the call, maybe to others that are present in your life today. Breathe in everything you need and release what is no longer serving you. We'll come into a period of some silence now. And as you sit, as thoughts, feelings, emotions come up, and they will, just greet them warmly and release them as you release the breath. Coming back again and again to the inhale, taking in, and the exhale, letting go. may I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into your joints. Maybe roll your head a little bit from side to side. If you're lying down, roll to one side and pause before pressing yourself up to sitting, allowing your attention to stay deeply inward for another moment or two. We'll seal our practice with one chant of Om for the community we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join, bringing hands together at heart center, we'll inhale. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Jai Bhagwan. May the light in each of you be victorious. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with each other.